Okay, so it's time for us to come together in prayer just regarding the children that seem to go missing each year. Okay, so there are many children that have been coming through our borders, the borders of the United States, and these are illegal immigrants that have been coming across unaccompanied children that have been coming across unaccompanied. And a lot of these children are not accounted for. Approximately 400,000, between 300 and 400,000 of these children are not found. They are lost. And so I am soliciting you to agree with me and GGM in prayer just regarding just finding these children and having them occupy a safe space so that they are not harmed or trafficked or sent into child labor or anything like that. So we want to make sure that we are covering our children in prayer. And so by making sure that we are protecting our children and that we are praying for our children and that we are spreading truth. We're exposing these things so that we are aware, not for a consciousness of it, for prayer, exclusively for prayer. Because we know that Ephesians 6:12 says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, rulers of darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. And so because of that, we know that, yes, we can, the House, there were House committee hearings, meetings, and there were work that was done within the judicial system. These are people who are true advocates for our children. However, we know that we wrestle against principalities and powers. So we have to make sure that we are praying so that those that work within the judicial system, within the legal system, that they will have the wisdom and they will have the resources and provide it so that they can accomplish what is needed to be fulfilled for these children, for the safety of these children. I just wanted to show you really quickly how just some clips from just the number of children that have been missing and show you how some of the things that were discussed in these hearing committee meetings. Yes, there is a person, a P. Diddy, I don't want to really go into all of that, but he is a person that is targeted or that is he has allegedly committed crimes in the trafficking part of it. He has committed some crimes, and so he is allegedly involved with these cases that are involving trafficking. However, the government plays a role as well.
Since 2021, an average of 400 unaccompanied children are smuggled into the United States every day. These children, who cross into the United States without parents, are subsequently detained, processed by the federal government's Unaccompanied Children Program, and eventually released into the country. On August 19, 2024, the Department of Homeland Security announced that they had lost track of over 300,000 of these children. In June of 2024, a government insider from the Department of Health and Human Services provided Muckraker with a list detailing the names of over 8,000 alien children, along with their last known addresses. So, we began an operation to find the missing children ourselves. Over the course of our investigation, we discovered the dangerous places where children had been delivered, confronted a CIA contractor who moves these children, heard shocking stories from children who the federal government has lost track of, and exposed a child trafficking network in Florida. This report brings to light the fate of the forgotten children who have fallen victim to the criminal negligence of the United States federal government.
You mentioned, the 3 calls that you make to follow up. It could be they just aren't by the phone, or they're at school or at work or something. So you make the 3 calls and you can't contact either the sponsor or the child. So now what?
Congressman, I would pose the question back to you because
now what? I mean, did you just shrug your shoulders and go on?
No, that's why we have tried to expand.
What are you doing then?
Well,
I mean,
that's
as
why
Mr.
we've
Moore
expanded.
said, if it was my child and I couldn't get a hold of them or the person who's looking after them in 3 separate phone calls, I would be freaking out. Now, you're the surrogate parent in this case. What do you do after the 3 calls go unanswered? You're telling us, you're assuring us, these children aren't lost, but how are you following up after that?
Because you pose a great question, because you and I as parents would want to make sure that we know what's going on with our children. And we make every effort. We don't have
3 calls, and then what after that?
Congressman, our responsibility is to provide care while they are in our custody. Under
Mr.
the law,
Secretary, you have dropped them off at a sponsor's house. You now can't get a hold of them. That's on you. What do you do after that? What I'm hearing back is you don't do anything. You shrug your shoulders and then send another batch of kids out to another group of sponsors' homes. Never mind that they've got a criminal conviction. Barring the sharing of immigrant information for potential sponsors with law enforcement.
Mr. Secretary, how can you credibly claim that HHS is working to protect these children? And by the way, children we're talking about in the order of magnitude of 400 and something thousand children, which you are dismissing that they are lost. Let me ask you a very specific question, Mr. Secretary. Can you account for the whereabouts of those 400 and something thousand children? The 320,000 that were put in the report by the Inspector General, the 85,000 that we've talked about before in 2023. Do you know where all of these children are and that they are safe? Yes or no?
Congressman, as I explained the process, we get these kids when they are referred to us by the Department of Homeland Security. We then provide them with care while they are in our custody. We lose custody of those kids once we find a vetted sponsor with whom they can stay.
A vetted sponsor that rapes and murders the people that they're entrusted to? Because you issue a rule that doesn't even do the background check? That's what you think is appropriate care for these children?
So there is work to do. We came together, we united in prayer, and change took place. We need to do the same thing when it comes to our children. We need to come together and pray that these the things that are these systems that are in place to, I guess, oppress our children through trafficking, to keep them in bondage through trafficking. When, as believers, we know what this truly means. This means that the devil is trying to steal the destinies of our children. And so that's why we need to come into prayer, and let's agree to come into prayer against these systems that are in place. Now, we're talking over 400,000 children. That's a lot of children to just become lost. And so we want to close down this market and this system that has been oppressing our children so that they can live normal lives and that they can live a life giving honor to God. Okay, so we just want to come together in prayer, and we want to just make sure that we are doing our part as kingdom believers. I am so thankful for you, and God bless you. And I look forward to hearing testimonies of children that have been released from the system, set free from the system, and able to live normal lives and give God the glory. Amen. All right. God bless you. Bye-bye.